Hello dear learners, Vanakkam. I am Dr. P. Paramadayalan. In this lecture, you are going to learn about finite verbs and non-finite verbs in Tamil. Hope you might have remembered all the structures of Tamil language which we discussed earlier. Verb forms are broadly classified into two major divisions. One is finite verbs and another one is non-finite verbs. Now, let us discuss the finite verbs and non-finite verbs in detail. Initially, we will see the finite verbs. Later, we will focus on non-finite verbs. A finite verb is a verb that has a subject and function as a main verb in a sentence. It shows tense and agrees with the subject in number and person. Also, a finite verb gives a complete meaning. For example, he writes an assignment. In the above sentence, write is a finite verb which takes subject and agrees tense and png. Here, subject is he. He is the third person masculine singular. In English, the third person singular usually agrees yes with the verb for the present form. As I mentioned above, the verb write takes the subject he and agrees tense present form and png third person singular masculine. Besides, it gives a complete meaning. Therefore, the verb write is a finite verb. Let us see a few examples in Tamil. Avan ஆய்வு கட்டுரையை சமர்ப்பிச்சான், which means he submitted the research article. In the above sentence, samarpichan is a finite verb which consists of subject, tense and png. Subject is avan. Tense marker is WH, which refers past form. png is on, which refers first person singular. The verb samarpi, which means submit, that takes subject and agrees tense and png. Further, it gives a complete meaning. Therefore, the verb samarpi is a finite verb. Usually, Tamil verbs conjugate with tense marker and png marker. Those were we called as finite verbs. Now, let us move on to the non-finite verbs. Non-finite verbs do not change according to the subject or tense. They often appear as infinitives, gerunds or participles and do not serve as a main verb in a sentence, and also it never gives a complete meaning alone. It always depends upon other form. The Tamil language has four non-finite verbs. They are infinitive, verbal participle, relative participle and conditional form. In this lecture, we are going to focus on the first category of non-finite verbs named infinitive. We will discuss the rest of the categories in the next class. We have already discussed the infinitive form many times. However, we have not discussed elaborately. Now, let us see the infinitive form in detail. Initially, we will see the examples in English. Later, we will see the examples for Tamil language. I came to know the information. In the above sentence, I is subject, came is verb, to know is infinitive form which function as a complement in the sentence. The information is object. In this sentence, to know is the infinitive form which does not give a complete meaning, and also it does not take the subject and the tense because it is one of the non-finite verbs. Let us move on to the Tamil examples. நான் விளையாட போறேன், which means I go to play. நான் படிக்க போறேன், which means I go to read. அவன் போட்டியில கலந்து கொள்ள போறான், which means he goes to participate in the game. அவ தூங்க போறா, which means she goes to sleep. In the above sentences, the underlined words are the infinitive form of the verbs. The infinitive in Tamil is a non-finite verb form that expresses the base action without being bound to tense, person and number. It is widely used in spoken and written Tamil. In Tamil language, the infinitive is formed by adding the suffix a to the verb stem. Let us see how the infinitive forms are being formed in Tamil. There are 7 steps to be followed to form the infinitive in Tamil. Let us see all the 7 steps. Now, first, let us see the first step. The strong verb which ends with a, e, a, I, ir sounds, the linking particle double is added between the verb stem and the infinitive suffix a. For example, let us take the verb uri, which means peel. As I have informed just now, the linking particle double is added next to the verb uri. After adding the linking particle double with the verb uri, it becomes urik. Later, add the infinitive suffix a with the urik. Finally, we get the infinitive urika, which means to peel for the verb uri. The same methods have to be followed for the strong verbs which ended with a, e, a, I, ir sounds. Let us see some more example. Nada, which means walk. The infinitive form of nada is nadaka, which means to walk. Nadi means act. The infinitive form of nadi is nadika, which means to act. Next we will see the verb kadi, which means bite. The infinitive form of kadi is kadika, which means bite. We will move on to the next example. That one is the ari, which means destroy. The infinitive form of ari is arika, which means destroy. Next example is nine, which means think. The infinitive form of nine is nineke, which means to think. Next example is thai, which means stitch. The infinitive form of the thai is thaike, which means to stitch. Next one is par, which means see. The infinitive form of the verb par is parka, which means to see. Now, let us discuss the second step. A weak verb which ends with u sound, the final u is dropped. Following this, the infinitive suffix a is added. For example, let us take the verb aadu, which means dance. As I have pinpointed just now, the final u is dropped in the weak verb aadu. After dropping the final u in aadu, it becomes art. Now, add the infinitive suffix a with art. Now, we can get the infinitive form aada for the verb aadu. The same patterns have to be followed for all the weak verbs which ended with u sound. Let us see some more verbs and its infinitive form for the above category. Vidu means live. The infinitive form of vidu is vida, which means to live. Nadu means plant. The infinitive form of nadu is nada, which means to plant. Sudu, which means shoot or bone. The infinitive form of sudu is suda, which means to shoot. Next example is todu, which means touch. The infinitive form of todu is toda, which means to touch. Next one is sapidu, which means eat. The infinitive form of sapidu is sapida, which means to eat. Next example is kumbidu, which means worship. The infinitive form of kumbidu is kumbida, which means to worship. Next example is udanpadu, which means agree. The infinitive form of the verb udanpadu is udanpada, which means to agree. Next example is ukkaru, which means sit. The infinitive form of ukkaru is ukkara, which means to sit. Now, we will move on to the second step. A strong verb which ends with u sound, the linking particle w is added between the verb stem and the infinitive suffix a. For example, let us take the verb kudu. As I have informed just now, the linking particle w is added next to the strong verb kodu. After adding the linking particle double with the verb kodu, it becomes koduk. Later, add the infinitive suffix a with koduk. Finally, we get the infinitive form kodukka for the verb kodu. The same methods have to be followed for the strong verbs which ended with u sound. Let us see some more verbs and its infinitive form for the above category. Edu means take. The infinitive form of edu is edukka, which means to take. Next example is padu, which means lie down. The infinitive form of padu is padukka, which means to lie down. Next example is veru. Veru means hate. The infinitive form of veru is verukka, which means to hate. Next one is varu. Varu means roast. The infinitive form of varu is varukka, which means to roast. Next one is iru. Iru means pull or drag. The infinitive form of iru is irukka, which means to pull or to drag. Next example is paru, which means ripe. The infinitive form of paru is parukka, which means to ripe. Now let us focus on fourth step. When the two-letter verbs ended with e and it is preceded with a short sound, the e gets doubled and then the infinitive suffix a is added. For example, let us take the verb say, which means do. As I have told just now, the e gets doubled in the verb say. Accordingly, we get the form say. Now add the infinitive suffix a with the say. Finally, we get the infinitive form say for the verb say. The above set rules to be followed when the two-letter verbs ended with e and it is preceded with the short sound. Let us see some more examples for this category. Pay, which means rain. The infinitive form of the pay is paye, which means to rain. Next example is nei, which means view. The infinitive form of nei is neiye, which means to view. Next example is koi, which means pluck. The infinitive form of koi is koiye, which means to pluck. Now let us see the fifth one. The infinitive form of the following verbs are entirely different. It is not possible to follow certain rules for this category. Hence, you are advised to memorize the infinitive form for the following verbs. Will, which means sell. The infinitive form of will is virka, which means to sell. Next example is kallu, which means learn. The infinitive form of kal is karka, means to learn. Next example is nillu, which means stand. The infinitive form of nil is nirka, which means to stand. Next example is tol, which means defeat. The infinitive form of tol is torka, which means to defeat. Next example is yel. Yel means accept. The infinitive form of yel is yerka, which means to accept. Now we will see the sixth step. Let us see the infinitive form of the irregular verbs. As we discussed earlier, some changes takes place in the verb terms when the irregular verbs conjugated with the tense marker and in the infinitive form. Va means come. The infinitive form of va is vara, which means to come. Po means go. The infinitive form of po is poga, which means to go. Next one is ta, which means give. The infinitive form of the verb ta is tara, which means to give. Next example is sa, which means die. The infinitive form of sa is saga, which means to die. Now we will see the last category. Some of the verbs in Tamil that function as transitive and intransitive verb. The verbs which are functioned as both the transitive as well as intransitive verbs, usually those verbs takes two infinitive forms. One is for transitive verb and another one is for intransitive verb. Let us see some of the examples. The transitive form of the verb ari is destroy. Its infinitive form is arike, which means to destroy. The intransitive form of the verb ari is perish. Its infinitive form is ariye, which means to perish. The transitive form of the verb may is to feed cattle. Its infinitive form is make, which means to feed cattle. The intransitive form of the verb may, which means graze. Its infinitive form is maye, which means to graze. The transitive form of the verb ade means shut. Its infinitive form is adeke, which means to shut. The intransitive form of the verb ade, which means attain. Its infinitive form is adaye, which means to shut. As we discussed above, some of the verbs in Tamil which are functioned as transitive and intransitive verbs. For transitive verb, the linking particle double is added between the verb stem and the infinitive suffix a. Intransitive verbs never takes the linking particle double. Rather than it has different forms. Now, let us see the vocabulary which is used in the lesson and know how to form and use the finite verb and non-finite verbs effectively. Nan means I. Paricheku means to exam. Padike means to study. Poren means I go. Nan paricheke padike poren, which means I am going to study for the exam. Appadiya means ho, really? Amam means yes. Vareya means are you coming? Amam vareya, yes, are you coming? Nan means I. Varale means not come. Velayada means to play. Poren means I go. Nan varale, nan velayada poren, which means I don't come, I am going to play. Raman means name of a person. Varuvana, will he come? Raman varuvana, will Raman come? Ille means no. Avan means he. Potiyila means in the game. Kalandukolla means to participate. Poran means he go. Ille, avan potiyila kalandukolla poran. No, he is going to participate in the competition. Appadiya, which means is that so? Vera yaru, who else? Padike, to study. Varuvanga, will come. Appadiya, vera yaru padike varuvanga. Is that so? Who else will come to study? Kumaru, which means name of a person. Varuvan, will come. Avane, he. Kupidu means call. Kumaru varuvan, avane kupidu. Kumar will come, call him. Sari means okay or alright. Kupiduren, will call. Nama means we. Appuram means later. Parpom means see. Sari, கூப்பிடுறேன். நாம அப்புறம் பார்ப்போம். Okay, I will call him. See you later. I hope that you have learned a few new vocabularies. Besides, you might have clearly understood the difference between finite and non-finite verbs. Further, you might have got clear picture in terms of forming infinitive for all the types of verb patterns. Now, let us see the conversation which goes between Ramu and Rangan. You are advised to watch the flow of the conversation carefully in order to build the fluency of the language. The topic of this lesson is Padike Alaithal, which means inviting to study. Ramu, நான் பரீட்சைக்கு படிக்க போறேன். I am going to study for the exam. Rangan, அப்படியா? Oh, really? Ramu, ஆமாம். வரையா? Yes, are you coming? Rangan, நான் வரலே. நான் விளையாட போறேன். I don't come. I am going to play. Ramu. Raman வருவானா? Will Raman come? Rangan. இல்லை, அவன் போட்டியில கலந்து கொள்ள போறான். No, he is going to participate in a competition. ராமு. அப்படியா? வேற யாரு படிக்க வருவாங்க? Is that so? Who else will come to study? ரங்கன். குமாரு வருவான். அவனே கூப்பிடு. குமார் will come. Call him. ராமு. சரி, கூப்பிடுறேன். நாம அப்புறம் பார்ப்போம். Okay, I will call him. See you later. I hope that this conversation gave you enough strength to follow the flow of the conversation, by which you can boost your fluency in the target language. Now, let us focus on a few grammatical structure which are used in this lesson. Look on to the sentence, Sari கூப்பிடுறேன், which means I will call him. Here, the word கூப்பிடுறேன் indicates present, but its action refers the future. Even though the action will happen in the future, Tamil speakers often use the simple present tense to indicate an immediate future intention. Let us see a few more examples. நான் பேசுறேன், which means I will speak. நான் அவருக்கிட்டே சொல்லுறேன், which means I will tell to him. நான் வகுப்புக்கு போறேன், I will go to class. In the above sentences, the action refers the future form. However, the simple present tense are used. In order to indicate an immediate future intention action, you may use the simple present tense. Now, let us discuss the interrogative form for the simple sentences. In Tamil, forming an interrogative for simple sentence is remarkably systematic, but English, which often requires changing the word order. For example, you are reading. When you change the positive form into interrogative form, its order is getting changed. Are you reading? Sometimes adding auxiliary verbs like do, does to construct interrogative sentences. As we discussed just before, Tamil language has systematic way to construct interrogative sentences, either by simply adding the interrogative marker "are" at the end of the sentence, or using the interrogative pronoun yaru. Initially, we will discuss some examples for forming interrogative sentences by using the interrogative marker "are." Vareya means are you coming? The statement for the vareya is vare. By simply adding the interrogative marker "are" at the end of the statement type of sentences, we are forming interrogative sentence. We will see some more examples. Avan varuvana. Will he come? The statement for avan varuvana is avan varuvan. Here also, we simply added the interrogative marker "a" at the end of the statement type of sentence to form interrogative sentence. Now, let us see some examples for the interrogative which is formed by using the interrogative pronoun yaru. யாரு படிக்க வருவாங்க? Who will come to study? யாரு விளையாட வருவாங்க? Who will come to play? யாரு பரீட்சை எழுதுறாங்க? Who is writing the exam? In the above examples, the interrogative pronoun yaru is used to form interrogative sentences. In this conversation of this lesson, we used present negation. நான் வரலே, which means I don't come. The negative marker le is used after the infinitive vara in order to form present negation. Now we will see some more examples. நான் இப்ப எழுதலே, which means I do not write now. அவன் இப்ப ஊருக்கு போகலே, which means he does not go to native town now. Sandhi also used in the lesson. The Sandhi rule says that E is added to the words or particle ending with E, E, A, I when they are followed by a word or particle beginning with vowel. As per the Sandhi rule, E is added between the word vare, which ends with A, and the interrogative marker A. Accordingly, the form vare plus E plus A. Finally, we get vareya. Hope you might have understood the structures which are all introduced in this lesson. Now, you can form the infinitive for all the verbs in Tamil which support you to form negative sentence. Besides, you can use a few types of interrogative sentence in the conversation. Thank you for your attention. Keep watching, keep learning and keep practicing. Nandri Vanakkam and happy learning.